I can't remember if I have or have not done a video on my channel about Vin Diesel. I'm sure that I've done commentaries where his name has come up, but I was probably talking about somebody else. So if this is the first time I'm talking about him, this is going to be very controversial. It's not looking good so far as for him, because it seems like now Vin Diesel has now gotten caught up in the Me Too mayhem, because it's just been reported that allegedly back in 2010 a former assistant of his was SA'd, I'll put it like that, by him, and according to this new lawsuit that has been put out by this person. So I'm going to go ahead and now read this article so we can get some more details about this, because something just tells me this is another one of those money grabs. A former assistant to actor Vin Diesel filed a lawsuit in Los Angeles today on the 21st, alleging that the Fast and Furious star sexually battered her while she was working for him in the fall of 2010 during the filming of Fast 5. Representatives for Diesel and his production company did not immediately respond to Vanity Fair's request for comment. In the lawsuit filed in Los Angeles and obtained by Vanity Fair, plaintiff Asta Jonassen states that she was hired by Diesel's company One Race to work for the actor on location in Atlanta, where Fast 5 was in production. The suit describes Jonassen as a recent film school program graduate at the time, whose job responsibilities included organizing parties, accompanying Diesel to parties, and ensuring that she was in close physical proximity to him in case photographs were taken of him with women when he attended events without his longtime girlfriend. The suit alleges that late one night in September 2010, Jonassen was asked to wait in Diesel's suite at the St. Regis Hotel while he entertained hostesses he had brought back from a club. Once the other women were gone, the lawsuit claims Diesel grabbed Ms. Jonassen's wrist with each of his hands and pulled her onto the bed. She asked him to stop, escaped his grasp, and waited by the front door of the suite for him to leave. Instead, the lawsuit says he again approached Jonassen and began to grope her breast, kiss her chest, despite her pleas to stop. Ms. Jonassen was afraid to more forcibly refuse her supervisor, knowing that getting him out of that room was both crucial to her personal safety and job security. But this hope died when Vin Diesel dropped to his knees, pushed Ms. Jonassen's dress up toward her waist, and molested her body, running his hands over Ms. Jonassen's upper legs, including her inner thighs. According to the lawsuit, once Diesel moved to pull down her underwear, Jonassen screamed and ran down the hallway toward the bathroom, where Diesel pinned her to the wall, placing her hand on his erect even as she verbally refused. He masturbated, the suit alleges. While terrified, Ms. Jonassen closed her eyes, trying to dissociate from the SA and avoid angering him. Now that's a very, very detailed layout right there. Like, this is very, very well laid out, but I still have some questions, but I'm gonna wait until the end of the article. Hours later, the suit alleges Samantha Vincent, Diesel's sister and the president of One Race, called Jonassen to terminate her employment after less than 2 weeks on the job. So that's very interesting. So it's not like she was working with him a long time prior to this. She just got this job at the time. She was only there for 2 weeks. It goes on to say it was clear to her that she was being fired because she was no longer useful. Vin Diesel had used her to fulfill his sexual desires, and she had resisted his SAs. According to the suit, which says that Jonassen's self-esteem was demolished, and she questioned her own skills and whether a successful career would require her to trade her body for advancement. This is not the first inappropriate incident that occurred while Jonassen was working for Diesel, according to the lawsuit. Just a few days before, Jonassen's suit alleges another One Race supervisor summoned her to his own room at the St. Regis while she was on duty, where he took off his shirt, got into bed, and said, "Come here." Jonassen immediately exited the room, according to the suit. Now I wonder why she didn't drop that person's name. On top of sexual battery, the lawsuit claims, among other things, discrimination of the basis of sex and gender, intentional infliction of emotional distress, hostile work environment, wrongful termination, and retaliation. It also accuses Diesel and his production of an attempted cover-up and states that Jonassen has suffered and continues to suffer humiliation, emotional distress, and mental and physical pain and anguish. According to the lawsuit, having signed a non-disclosure agreement when she took the one-race position, Jonassen maintained her silence over the ensuing years. That's 13 in total. The suit says that she was able to file the claims thanks to the Speak Out Act, which prevents the enforcement of non-disclosure agreements in instances of SA and harassment in California's AB 2777, which temporarily waives statute of limitations for sexual abuse allegations occurring in 2009 or later. The suit also says that she was empowered by the Me Too and Time's Up movements, which inspired her to reclaim her agency and justice for the suffering she endured at the hands of Vin Diesel in One Race. Jonassen went on to work in the entertainment industry as an assistant and production coordinator, among other roles. Diesel, who was born Mark Sinclair, is best known for his roles as Dominic Toretto in the Fast and Furious franchise and the voice of Groot in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. He and his sister Samantha are producers on several of the Fast and Furious pictures. And that's the entire article right there. So initially what I was going to come at this was with, why did it take her so long to finally come out and say something? After all, this happened back in 2010 allegedly, and it's now 2023, 13 years later. So I'm sitting here saying to myself, okay, she probably wants money, like many of them seemingly that's what they want. And I'm also saying to myself, how many Fast movies have come out since then, as well as the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, which also made a good load of money as well. So Vin Diesel was getting paid quite a bit between both of those franchises, even though I completely clocked out of those Fast movies, been clocked out of those. But he also has those 3 Guardians of the Galaxy movies under his belt, plus that special that they holiday special that they did last year, as well as that I Am Groot show that's also on Disney Plus. So he was making, you know, some decent money between Universal with the Fast movies, as well as Disney with the Guardians of the Galaxy based movies as well. So I'm sitting here saying to myself, this has to most likely be a money grab. Now, the one thing that that could actually work against him is the fact of how detailed this woman went in telling this story. Like, y'all know that, I mean, y'all heard me read down, she was very, very detailed about what happened. So either they're going to believe her story, or they're going to say that she's made it up and she's only doing this for money. To me, there really is no middle ground with this situation right here. But I'm curious to see how all of this is going to play out, because right now I can't really gauge how this is going to go. I don't know if it's going to work in her favor or it's going to work in his. I don't know if it's going to work against him or for him, or against her and for her. Many people are probably going to come at it with the angle of, oh, she just has to be lying, she's there for a money grab and all this, down the third. Then you're going to have some people that's going to say, oh, he did it, he's trash, he's a scumbag, get him up out of there, cancel him, and all this other stuff that they like to do, especially when it comes to people in this particular industry. Now, let's not let it be slept on by anyone. Vin Diesel is mixed. I think everybody who's watching right now should know that, especially if you are above a certain age. Vin Diesel is mixed. One of his parents is black, and I forgot what the ethnicity is for the other parent. Upon further research, I actually found out that one of his parents, the mother, is actually of Scottish descent, so you can pretty much say that she's PC. And then I also found out that the man that she married was not, or is not, Vin Diesel's biological father. That's his adopted father, but he is labeled down on different documents and in public knowledge as being African American. But either way, there's some African ancestry somewhere in that bloodline of Vin Diesel. Where at, I'm not entirely sure, and I couldn't really find anything on his actual biological dad, because Vin Diesel's actual name is Mark Sinclair, and his dad's name, or his adopted dad's name, is Irving Vincent. So as you can see, there's a slight disconnect there. I just wanted to throw that part out there, because If you identify as mixed or biracial, or you think you passing out here, you can think again. They gonna come for you too. But as far as what I believe about this particular situation, I am inclined to believe that this woman is definitely lying. I do not believe her story whatsoever. I believe that was just a crafted story that she made up or someone told her to make up. But at the end of the day, it's not really about what I think. It's about what a lot of the collective think of whether or not he is guilty or not. Well, not so much guilty, if he is wrong in this situation, or if they believe that he's innocent. But all I'm just saying is just pay attention to the signs and pay attention to the patterns, because they're seemingly coming out one by one by one by one nowadays.